So last week we went for a little whitetail hunt over on Red Feather Falls, and I talked about maybe trying to start putting in more time to try to get a 200-inch whitetail, and a lot of you guys seem to think it was a good idea, so we're going to continue that today on Rougarou Bayou, which is not a map I think we'll do this on much, but there were some changes to the game today, and one of the major ones was to the new 12-gauge semi-automatic shotgun, and I wanted to kind of share that first, because for one, the animation is much nicer, and there's some changes to animations, including aiming, which is way better than it used to be. So we're going to maybe get a flock of ducks or two first, and then we'll kind of go off and see if we can find a whitetail around here, because like I said, it's not a map that we're going to do much of, but I have actually had some big ones out here, so we'll see. We got one duck to break, and I guess that's going to be it. So the other change to the new 12-gauge is I believe there's completely unique audio for it, so this should be a gunshot we've never heard in the Hunter Classic. Oh, I like that. I literally hadn't shot it before this video. That sounded awesome. I wasn't sure, but we're 100% carrying this for the rest of the hunt. If we get an opportunity to shoot like a whitetail at range with slugs or whatever, we're probably going to take it. That sounds really cool. Okay, we got a pretty good sized break out of these, so this will be a decent test, if I use the right color, of the accuracy and the change to the aiming, because shooting one is no big deal, but actually having to get several is going to be interesting, and there are a ton breaking. It's a decent double. I think that's a male. I definitely feel like it's easier to aim, because before it felt just clunky and awkward, but I think that made a really big difference, so I'm not planning on doing a whole lot more duck hunting. We'll kind of pick everything up here and see if anything was very good sized. And then we'll move on, and like I said, we're going to bring that with slugs and I guess buckshot too, because we could get a chance at a bobcat, because I really do like it. And we're hitting 30 meters away head and neck. I'm not sure how much of that was maybe luck based, but it wasn't bad. These are spooking on us already, but I think we better worry about whitetail, because that's going to be the main focus. But by the way, again, headshot on that. This, I think, would have been that double at the beginning, so not too much of a surprise that that one wasn't a headshot, because we're kind of trying to hit two at the same time. And yeah, this one was going away, just hitting the body, but I mean, obviously I'm going to have to do a little more hunting with it to really see, but I feel like just the fact that it feels smoother and easier to aim, plus the actual headshots being a thing, I think that actually made a pretty big difference. But we'll get our equipment switched up here for a whitetail hunt, and we'll go to an area that we haven't already shot up. You know, also, since we can hear them, there's another little change they made, and it's the ability to turn off flock sounds. So we can turn this on, and all the ducks will kind of be quiet. So that's going to be nice for doing what we're doing today and really not focusing on birds, but being on a map where they're quite frequently flying around and making a lot of sounds. So I think that'll be nice, but I wanted to maybe start down here. I don't hear anything at all, but we'll sit a minute and call and then start wandering around and see what's out here. So there doesn't seem to be any whitetail down in this area, but we ended up getting a pretty decent sized feral hog to come in. I mean, 850 to 950, and he's definitely closer to the 950 side of that, I would say. He's got good looking tusks, but it's a good chance to use the 12-gauge slugs again. And just, I love the sound of that. Any chance we can get, we're definitely going to use it. But yeah, I figured basically if we came down here, we might get to avoid the bobcats, because ever since bobcats got added to this map, it just seems like there's less whitetail in general. But I mean, 925 is definitely a decent hog, and I'm thinking we're just going to try to get up to the land areas up through here, because I mean, I was trying to avoid that because I know that's where bobcats stay the most, but if there's no whitetail down here in the swamp, I think that's going to be our best bet. So we're still not on any whitetail, but this male bobcat called, and I figured since I mentioned it, we'd actually go ahead and take opportunity to kind of use buckshot on something with this 12-gauge. So we've actually gotten to shoot all three of the different ammo types now, but I'm really hoping now that we're up in an area where there should be more whitetail, that we actually start to run into some bucks, because there was a doe up on this same area, but just nothing for bucks so far. But this guy should be somewhere in the 8 range, and at least with any male bobcat, really, you're looking at a good CSS and a lot of GM, so it'll help pay for some of the ammo and stuff, basically 100 for an average size male. Okay, this is getting really interesting. I've been on a track of an 80 to 95 whitetail, which spooked and is somewhere nearby, maybe even calmed down by now, so he could come into this. There was also, I think, a 70 to 95 track that led me over here, or 75 to 95, I can't remember exactly what he weighed. And then this guy that grunted is a new trail, so there's definitely a lot of bucks in the area. Just gonna be a matter of actually finding them. So that's not exactly what I was hoping to see, but kind of expected definitely when there's 3 bucks in one area that one is gonna be kind of little. But we'll try to drop him. And like I said, there's a chance that the one we've been tracking could be coming in, so we're gonna get that arrow knocked, and we're just gonna crawl our way over here because, like, tracking animals on this map is really difficult. There's so much deep water they can't actually navigate through that they kind of just end up going back and forth. So spooking things has probably higher consequences than on other maps. So we're gonna just be really, really careful at this point. And that could have been kind of bad. We were lung, liver, stomach, so I mean that's always gonna be plenty to drop them, but kind of pushing it to potentially having him run and ruin everything here. But at least he's out of the way, and at least it gave the other ones some time to calm down. So we'll head back and get on his tracks. Alright, that's our guy. So he probably was just out of range of the calls last time. But, I mean, it didn't take too long to find this one. The other tracks that I mentioned were kind of old, so I'm not sure we'll be able to get back on them, but maybe if this goes quickly we can find them again. That's definitely a little bit unlucky. He's 100 to 125, and he's probably going to be closer to the 100 end of that. It's just not all that special, but at least we got him down, and it's a really heavy track that we're not going to be coming across later and, you know, spending more time on. So, like I said, at least we got him, and we can go back to that other track and at least see if it's still there. But, I mean, yeah, 104 is certainly not special, and it would have been somewhere over here. I think there's the last place I had it, because it's completely changed direction at that point, so we'll see if it's there, and if not, he might still be somewhere in the area. I can't believe that's still there. It's got to be really old at this point, so we might as well run it. But at this point, there were 3 bucks in this area, we might as well get all 3. I mean, I have to think the odds of 3 bucks all in one area, maybe one could actually be decent. These little, like, dead trees can be so useful because you can kind of just crawl up them, and you get such a better vantage point, and especially on Rougarou, like, there's so much underbrush. It's actually really valuable, but we have 2 different bucks again, both grunted, and they're at the 2 different X's, so I have no idea if we're going to manage to get both. If they come in with decent timing to where they're not going to hear the other shot, maybe. But the one that we've been tracking is the one on the right, so I definitely want to at least see that, especially having tracked it for so long, and that's him calling again, so he's kind of getting closer. I think that's a little non-typical. I mean, he's not big, but I'm definitely glad he called, because the one that we've been tracking this whole time, he did just step out over there somewhere. I saw him a second ago. He's not big. So, really, we lucked out, like, the way everything went for this guy to end up coming in. And, of course, it would have been nicer if he was better sized, but 120 to 160, he's probably going to be in that, like, 150 range. And just depending on the timing, we might still get a shot at both. We're going to maybe try to squeeze this shot in here, actually, just so we can get it off quicker. Although he turned, I think. Just in case he's looking at us, I want to try to spot. Now, he doesn't know we're here, but I hear the other guy, too. This is the one we've been tracking this entire time, so he's not special. I don't think I want to make, like, all that noise with the shotgun, but I'm starting to wonder, like, we're definitely spooking one of them. There's no way we're getting away with this, and obviously, we want the non-tip, so we have buckshot loaded, and there's not a clear shot in through there, so I think we're just going to do this. This is not what I wanted to do. But, can we even... just missed that guy, but I'm not real worried about that. But we did hit him. I don't know if that's enough to bring him down. Definitely saw some red there, so we'll have to see. But, pretty cool to actually come across a non-tip doing this. And, like, a decent one, I guess. I mean, 139, definitely not bad. So we'll get a quick trophy shot of him, and I hear that other guy running around, so I don't think that's gonna get him, unfortunately. And I think for a map that really doesn't have, like, a lot of sunlight, that's actually a pretty decent looking trophy shot. And I'm kind of glad we actually got him with the 12 gauge now that everything's been kind of fixed, and the sound of it I still really like. But yeah, I don't know that there's much point in going after this other guy. I don't think that's going to bring him down. So we'll probably head elsewhere. I mean, we're kind of down out of where I was trying to go anyway. So we'll get back onto the sort of mainland. So that's hardly what I was hoping to find when we came down here, but there's really been very little for whitetail. And even when there have been some, there's like 3 or 4 bobcats running around down here that keep spooking them, so I figured we'd just get that, because I would have ended with the non-typical, but I wanted to actually show one other thing from this update, and it's that they added an all-time personal best feature, which players have been asking for probably since the original, like, release of personal bests, which, to my knowledge, have been in the game as far as I've been playing, and it just lets you see, like, the best animal you've gotten for every species, the entire career of your time playing the hunter, and I think it's really cool. I like to see that, and hopefully that top one there with the whitetail can get changed to 200 sometime in the near future, because I'm definitely enjoying this, and it's been fun to get on other maps as well. And I mean, we didn't get much for whitetail today, but a little non-tip was pretty cool, and I don't know, somehow heading out here, my concept of like swamp bucks is always some kind of like little non-typical, so that was cool to actually end up getting that. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.